Alrighty, guys, welcome back to the GMAN show. We have some more slop from SBS Insight. Now, this is a very different one that I normally talk about on this channel. Before my divorce, I'd only slept with one man. Now I know what I was missing. So this is a great endorsement for you guys out there who are thinking about getting married. It's just showing you what is going to likely happen down the road, at least 50% of the time. And probably more than that, you're going to be living in a actionless relationship with someone who probably despises you. All right, let's jump in.
What was your weekend? What did you get up to?
So Friday was drinks with friends, Saturday was a play with a friend, and then Sunday I got a text from my current friend with benefits and he came over for a couple of hours.
You turned 50.
You got to love these old boilers, right? Like they're starting to get a bit of action and they're bragging about it like it's some mean feat. They've really achieved something in their life, and they brag with their friends and all that sort of stuff. So anyone who's married, if your wife has friends who are just going through this kind of experience, just being divorced and going out and getting back smashed in by the scuba diving instructor, by the fireman, by the police detective, and they're coming and telling your wife about it, oh well, you're in a danger zone right there.
50 last year, and you decided to make it a year of fun. Did it turn out that way?
Very much so. I went from being someone who had only slept with one man in my entire life in January to double digits in December.
So how...
Okay, I just can't understand how you'd be so happy and proud about saying that on national TV. So hang on, you had a probably long-term relationship with someone, you've kicked his ass to the curb, and now you're just getting cheeks clapped at 50 years old into the double digits in one year. That's what I was saying. That's why it's not an achievement. I'm going to predict what she's going to say here. It's younger dudes that she's probably meeting off dating apps, anywhere from 10 to 20 years younger than her, if not more, coming in, doing everything with her, smashing her back in, flipping her upside down, you name it, all that sort of stuff. They go and they laugh and tell their mates about the old boiler that they were banging. And she's here bragging like she's had the achievement. Young guys will, any guy really, who's still got some testosterone going, lead in the pencil, so to speak, he's going to sleep with anything he can. So it's not an achievement to get up to double digits as a woman in a year. And this just proves my point. If you're 50 years old, looks like Julie Bishop, and yeah. As I'm not shaming her, I'm just talking about it. Why do you think Insight is putting this on the news? Why do you think they have this on the TV? Because you get a lot of middle-aged people who might be not 100% happy with how they're going in their relationship. They watch this sort of thing, and that's the start. That's the wick is lit. And it blows things up. It's absolute social programming.
How many men in that 10 months?
It was probably around 10 or 12. I stopped counting after a while.
Where have you found these men?
Mainly on dating apps. They are as toxic and brutal as people talk about, but also in real life as well.
And how old in general are the men you're seeing?
So the youngest I've slept with was 28. The oldest was 48. My sweet spot is 38 to 44.
What's it about older men that you're not so attracted to?
So probably about 90% of them are not at that level of attractiveness that I'm after at the moment.
Are you kidding or what?
And then the last 10%, they don't tend to be very demonstrative. They don't tell you you're attractive. They pretty much act as though you're doing them a favour by being out with them. And
so telling you the truth then and showing you reality, you're like, look, she's not ugly, and she's in like pretty good nick from a body perspective for her age, but she's not attractive. I don't know what they're talking about. And look, any guy who's got his life together, probably the guy next to him, say you're that guy next to her there, you're 50, you've worked hard your whole life, you've got your life together, you've got your money, your security, your house. Are you going to be Are you really going to be wanting to take out her and make out like you're going to bow down at her feet? Probably not. Actually, you are doing her a favour. That's the thing. So I also think this is pretty naive from her, because it goes to show maybe she was pretty sheltered. Just thinking it's an achievement as an older woman who is a low-hanging fruit, can be gassed up by 25-year-old guys or whatever she's going to say.
There are times when I've been out on a first date or a second date and then got nothing from them afterwards. And
what you're experiencing at the moment, would you call that a midlife sexual awakening?
I would. I would call it that because I grew up in a time when sex and being sexual was not a priority at all.
Come on, it was the 70s, 80s? What are you talking about? Maybe even 90s when you got married. It was spread eagle action back then. I know you're talking, it wasn't 1886. And it was no action before marriage type stuff. What are you talking about?
And now that I'm not in that relationship and there is time for me and to explore what I like, this is when it's come to the fore.
How does your transformed sex life compare with your earlier sexual experiences?
So my earlier sexual experiences with one man in a loving relationship over a long period of time. So, read into that what you will.
Imagine being the ex-husband watching this, just getting completely ragged out on national TV, saying that their sex life was shit, which is, look, that's the truth for most people who are married. It is shit. She's probably not lying there. And then going on saying she's racked up 10, 12 guys post him in a year, which is on the low side, I would say. It sort of plays into the stuff that I talk about on some of my other channels. Is for the most part, people will say, "Oh, men don't want women who are over 30 because they're old and crusty or something like that." This is your prime example of guys will chase women for action that are 85. I've always talked about it. Guys will bang a bin. There's no standard. It's if they can get a load out, they're in. That's what it is. And I know people say, "Oh, you're being a bit crass here," but it's true. It's true.
It was fulfilling and it was fun at times. Sometimes it would drop by the wayside because life got in the way. Whereas now it is exploring what I want to do and I'm excited to do. So it's more about looking at the different things I haven't done. So things like a little bit of rough play and role play and using toys more and all of these things, which it's a difficult conversation to have with someone you're in a long-term relationship with.
Can you give us a bit of an example of what you mean by role play or rough play?
So my lovely current friend with benefits will text me to say, "Hey, are you free tonight?" And I will say yes, and he'll say, "Well..."
He'll come around, so he just texts her, complete uses her up, and at least she knows it's a friends with benefits. He wants to get a load out. He knows that she's up for anything. He can go and do the reenactment of the bang bus, no problem. I don't know, she's very braggative about it. Like, it's not something to brag about.
That's a shame because you're going to be asleep when I get there and the door's going to be accidentally unlocked and you'll be naked and this will be this, etc. So we'll set the scene before he comes.
Like a fantasy.
Yeah, just a bit of play.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, it's like a kindergarten teacher. Yeah, what do you mean by double fisting that you're doing?
And what about rough play?
So that was what's been interesting with the younger guys is that they're actually quite fit as well and they've got some really good muscles on them. And so they can pick you up and push you against the wall and throw you on the bed. And the first time that happened to me, I remember looking at him going, "Oh, do that again."
This is bizarre. They're loving it. She's like, "Yeah, The guy might struggle to throw up against the wall, though, that one. Oh, gosh. I mean, look, good luck to her. She's not hurting anyone, but I just find this to be a representation of what you're going to get 20 years down the line after you get married. You're going to get dropped on your ass. This is very common, and these chicks go out and just start banging everyone off dating apps. And then after about a few years, she'll do this for another couple of years, and she'll start wanting to look for a man and saying, well, where are the men? Where are the good men who want to commit? They don't. You've sealed your fate as the toy, the plaything of younger blokes. You want to throw you upside down and slam you against the wall and put you in the Lex Luger torture rack and then go and laugh about it down at the footy club and tell their mates over a beer, and they're all laughing in the car park. Ha ha ha. You know, you're an absolute animal, Steve-O.
So that was so much fun to explore that, and you know, in my personal life and my professional life, I'm the one in charge. So it's lovely just to give up that control and just be controlled and be dominated, and you know, have it a little bit rough and a little bit different to normal life.
What priority did you give sex during your decades-long marriage?
None.
I wouldn't say it was a priority ever, to be honest. We married young and then had a child the third year of our marriage, and from then on the kids were the priority. And
there you go, guys. Go and do it. This is what you're signing up for. This is literally a documentary. A documentary. And people can say, oh, you're being rude and harsh towards women in this video. I'm not. This is blatantly, the words are coming out of her mouth, exactly what happened. So you got married young, had kids, that was it. The shop was shut. The roller door was slammed down with a couple of padlocks on it. Kids have grown up, probably left the nest. She's bored, looking at her husband saying, you know what? I want to be put in a Lex Luger torture rack. I want to be jackknife powerbombed through a table. You're not doing that. I'm on the dating apps. Textbook.
Buying cars and buying a house and decorating that house was a priority.
Was there a moment where things in that relationship really shifted for you?
Yeah, probably when I got the call to say he was having an affair. So that was after he was the first man and the only man I'd ever had.
Well, there you go. I'm going to have to take back some of my comments, eh?
Sex with. We'd been together 30 years, married for 25, and that was very confronting, obviously. And looking at it, there was a moment when you could decide that you wanted to save the marriage. He wanted to save the marriage. And I had this vision before me of, well, he's had his fun and gone out, and it was more than one woman. And now my job is to fix something I didn't break. And
no accountability, though. Like you said, as I said, there was no action. Isn't just his fault. He's getting no action. The guy got nothing for, you're saying, for years on end. The priority was buying a house and decorating it and raising the kids. Men need action. So I'm not saying he did the right thing at all. But why can't she say, well, I didn't even try with him. You know, I was tired. I said I had a tummy ache every night when he was trying. Whatever it is, it had nothing to do with her. It was him. He's the evil man. As I said, guys, this is the endorsement of marriage at middle age. Anyway, I'm going to move it along. Here we go. So this section is how I knew my 30-year marriage was over.
Kate, it was also during lockdown in Melbourne that you realised your 30-year marriage was over. Why?
I think during lockdown, the spotlight was just on your house and you really saw the cracks that were in your home. And I realised that we were both desperately unhappy, but neither of us said anything, did anything, but we just couldn't keep living like that.
You'd had 5 kids, you were mum, you're keeping your marriage together.
Yes.
How did you feel about sex during your married life?
It was sort of complicated. I grew up in a very conservative religion and didn't leave that religion till my mid-30s. So I think a lot of my thoughts and feelings about sex were tied up in what was right and wrong. And it's really hard to shake that and make your own path. I enjoyed having sex and I knew that it was important for the marriage, but it was never a priority. It wasn't something that I really wanted, yeah.
You're 50 now.
I am.
Was sexuality something you gave much thought to earlier in your life?
Well, not really. So we weren't allowed to have sex before we got married. We didn't talk about sex, but I thought I'm the only person thinking these thoughts, so I will just keep them to myself because I couldn't possibly share them with anybody else.
And what were those thoughts?
So for me, it was the fact that I found girls attractive, but I thought,
That's pretty common. Like you hear about that. People being married for a long time, they break up, have a divorce, and the wife becomes a lesbian. More common than what you would think. But once again, this is an endorsement of the life of quiet desperation that everybody lives when you're married. But for some reason, it's pushed in society as this thing you should be doing. Where behind closed doors, I would say the vast majority of people are completely miserable in their living situation, but they're trapped because they've got mortgages and they've got kids, and maybe they can't afford to move out. And there's a long list of reasons why people hang around. And so, at 50 years old, people just start busting up. For those of you who watch Mother, you guys know my stance on it. I think it's a very risky proposition. I think for everybody involved, but especially for men too. You're going to lose a lot of money, child support, buy someone out of your house or sell the house to pay and all that sort of stuff. So, good time. So you get no sex for 30 years or 20 years. You're completely ignored and you get divorced and you got to pay out. Awesome. Sign me up.
I can't say this out loud ever to anybody. And there was actually a girl that I went through school with, and her and I used to hook up, occasionally kiss, but never speak of it. It's like it never happened because neither of us could acknowledge that we were attracted to girls. And so we just never mentioned it. And we had boyfriends at the time.
In January 2022, there was a significant moment for you. What was that?
So I went out for lunch with a group of friends, some of whom I knew and some of whom I didn't, and I sat down opposite a woman and I felt straight away attracted to her. And it just took me by complete shock. And what I came away from that realising was, didn't even matter if she never knew who I was or remembered me, I actually was capable of feeling attracted to somebody. And I was capable of...
Awesome. So married for all that time, religious type marriage, young, weren't attracted to the dude at all. Awesome. You know, I mean, you got luck to where she gets her scissor action and all of that, but you also need to think about the guy here too.
Feeling deeply attracted to a woman.
Janet, you're a sex therapist. You work with women mainly over 40. Are there common reasons why we might change our attitudes towards sex as we approach middle age and during middle age?
Because you're married and it's boring. And that's the truth of the matter for the most part. People get bored of each other. Guys are probably slower to get bored of their wives, but you still end up bored of them. I mean, how many times can you have sex with the same person and be exciting? Super exciting, like that first time you've done it where it's just on. Same as women. Women like sex just as much as men. That's a huge myth that is made, that men are just these dirty dogs and all they want is one thing. Have a listen to these women talking on this show. Go listen to TikToks of women talking about dating. I love it. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that society is bred to think that it's just men who want that stuff and women are happy not to have it. And this video here, it's telling you like the whole time they're married, they're unhappy, they're thinking about banging other dudes or whatever. Probably the same as guys who want to go and cheat and bang other chicks or go down to brothels or whatever.
Biggest trap is that busyness trap, whether you're married or single, finally, over 40, you tend to be independent. You really can be independent, married or not. And then it's like, well, hang on, what about me? I really want to find out about this pleasure that maybe I'm entitled to.
Julie, you and Con are in your
Go get it, girl.
mid-60s and have been together for 50 years. What's been the key to your long relationship?
Gosh, I guess we just never quit. Look, life hasn't always been a bed of roses or easy, and we literally just never gave up on each other or our marriage or ourselves.
Con, do you remember the first time you met Julie?
I do. She was 14 and a half.
Oh,
And
Con.
the moment we met at a skating rink through mutual friends. And
How old were you at the time?
I was 16.
Okay, so you're at the skating rink.
Yeah, so she walked over, and as she walked over, I saw her probably a little bit further away than what you are now. And the moment I saw her, I liked who I saw. She had a beautiful beaming smile, a long light brown hair. She had a beautiful figure. I fell in lust with her straight away.
All right, calm down, mate.
And I just wanted to get to know her.
What shaped your attitudes towards sex and intimacy in those early days of your relationship?
Look, there wasn't much at all really other than what I didn't get, really. When I was very young, my father was, it's a bit hard to really describe him, but he used to drink a bit and he can get a little bit aggressive from time to time. Certainly, I didn't see any
All right,
loving relation.
let's move on.
Julie, when your youngest child
So this section's called "I Gave My Husband an Ultimatum." All right, sounds fun.
was about 15, you decided it was time to reboot your sex life.
It was.
Why?
It really got to a point where the conflict was that I loved Con so much, but we weren't connecting. It was too big a tug of war in my head, in my heart, and in my body.
I'm not happy.
And I remember one night thinking to myself, I would rather choose death than to have to live like this any longer. I didn't know at that stage what to do, but something had to be done.
Oh, no.
And I spoke with a girlfriend who had told me about somebody she knew who ran workshops for couples. And I remember saying to Con that this was something I wanted to do, and he wasn't prepared to come along with me, then we were done.
Wow.
Because it was very much like, this is a crossroad, and
There we go. She's not happy. She's going to blow up their however long marriage because she doesn't want to go to the sex retreat. She's been talking to the girlfriends, getting her head all gassed up. This is what you sign up for.
you know, if we're going to move forward together, we cannot stay where we are now.
And this was a retreat, like making love retreat.
Yes.
What was Con's reaction?
I think after the blood came back to his face.
It's funny because everyone's thinking he should have just told her to kick rocks. All right, I'm moving on. This is about sexless marriages. It's just basically, I'll say probably half of them. People are not getting anything.
Rachel, you met your husband in your early 20s and you were engaged after just a couple of weeks. Why so quickly?
I was brought up in a very conservative Southeast Asian family, and one of the milestones is to obviously get a career, then marry. And we decided basically once we met overseas that this was the right thing to do.
In those early days, what was your sex life like?
Well, me travelling overseas just to meet my husband at the time was difficult, obviously, because we weren't married, and there is obviously a stigma in terms of having sex early on in your relationship. And so it was pretty much non-existent from the very start.
You've been married for nearly 20 years. How would you describe your sex life during this entire time?
Non-existent. And so...
There you go. Sign up, guys. How good is it? And girls too. Why would you do this to yourself? I don't get it. Just put a chain around your neck and arms and legs and just hate your life and then pay for it once it blows up. I don't know. As I said, it's not a good endorsement for getting married. You've got all these miserable people who have got no sex or bragging that they're finally getting sex now and they're finally happy now they're not married. But yet everyone in Australia wants to push the societal script that getting married is what you want to do. This is, I would say these people on here probably represent the vast majority of people out there. How many people do you see truly happy after a long period of time all over each other? You never see it. Get married, guys. But also this content. If you've made the choice to get married, this content now is going to burrow into the minds of people watching it. So you're going to have plenty of women at home, probably in the same situation, thinking, well, they dumped the husband, they did this, they did that. I'm going to do the same thing. And there you go.
I spent 20 years and I can count on my hands how many times.
All right, who cares about that? So some chick married some dude she didn't like really, it got no action, and they had action, less than 5 times in 20 years. Awesome. All right. This is what the final one I'm going to do is a woman joining OnlyCans, which is the adult content creation website, over 50 years old.
Michelle,
This is another thing. So people say, well, the old boiler's joining at over 50. Who's going to pay it? Just like that first woman that we had up who was just getting smashed every way to Sunday. Guys will pay. As I said, I'll have 85-year-olds on that website doing whatever, and guys will be paying for it. So, as I said, guys have got zero standards. You're animals. You don't help me out in any way here, guys, to put you in a good light. You know, there was what was it? I want to go slightly off topic here. There was a AI generated, but people didn't know that it was AI generated. It was a young Asian woman who had Down syndrome, and she had the OnlyCans, and she was AI. So people didn't know this, and she had thousands and thousands of guys paying it until it was found out it wasn't real. Yeah, a bit charged up at the moment. What do we feel like tonight? So yeah, a bit of Down syndrome Chinese action. Like, what is wrong with some blokes? Mate?
Had a career change at 50.
Yes.
What do you do for work?
So I sell naked photos of myself and pornography on OnlyFans.
What's OnlyFans?
You know what it
is. A social media site which has a lot of X-rated content on there, and you can subscribe to my page and you can see me fully naked or masturbating or having sex with 12 people.
What is going on in this world? What is 12? Not 1, 12. That's what I say. There's 12 blokes willing to get on camera at a time with one 50-year-old chick. Animals.
Yeah.
How explicit does your content get?
It gets very explicit. It's very intimate. I do a video which is pussy appreciation, and you get to see every part of my vagina, the outside. I pull it apart, and you see me experiencing real orgasms and with people that I really like as well.
Men are the filthy ones here, which they are because they're paying for it. But come on.
Online persona reflect how you were brought up to view sex?
Oh, definitely not. It's like chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
I grew up in a very strict European background. I was married at 20 and I was married for 13 years, and which was nice, but then after that I was still living that conservative lifestyle. I haven't had many partners before 50.
So why the big change in attitude towards sex in middle age?
It was during COVID and I got very sick and I felt very isolated from my family, and then I thought they're not even here to support me, and I just...
So, I'll just go and make some adult content.
Moved away from them, and during that time I was able to explore who I am and what I want and everything that I've missed out, and I just started to realise this is me and I want to do this, and it gives me financial freedom that I've never ever experienced before in my entire life. So and then once I started doing it, I just became more and more confident, and it kind of brought out a side of me that I didn't really know I had.
You're a grandmother and the tabloid media calls you porn gran. How do you deal with that?
Initially when they were giving me the OnlyFans porn gran, it was very derogatory, and I just thought, wow, that's sad that the media is portraying someone in their 50s as like sex is bad. And what is that saying to other people? Is saying to
So she's a married at first sight. This is the quality of people that got married at first sight. Well, Anyway, I think this is a really good insight. Actually, so insight being the SBS insight. This is really good. This is what goes on. This is what runs through people's heads. Yep, guys and girls out there, go get married. You're going to be so happy. All right, see you in the next video. That's enough of this filth. See you later.